Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching the world. My name is Shaun Driver. This is the Red Horde, and not going to go with the Who Are You series for Port Vale. We've got a dead rubber trophy match that's going to be played tomorrow. Today in a couple of hours. And so we're going to approach this one differently and basically just look at the starting lineup, the rules for eligibility, and then another topic that came up, that about phosphate levels and the COP, which had Twitter going absolutely nuts. I'm going to put my comments there, actually look at the documents for filing that were sent to the Wrexham Borough and talk about next steps and what does it mean in layman's terms, where do we go from here? So stick with us, join in, welcome to the Red Horde. Just before jumping into things, we are approaching 1,000 subscribers. That's exciting. It's awesome news. I'm blessed that I've had so many people who have followed along so far, joined for the watch parties, which continue to grow, and we will be going again tomorrow. I'm going to take my lunchtime break and extend it a little bit and cover the Port Vale game. Let's dive into that before getting to the COPE stuff. Lots of stuff I want to pack in, and I'm hoping to do this mostly in one take, and so excuse the edits if they're not there. We're just going to run through this and see where we end up. I posted on Twitter yesterday, hoping to get a couple of bites, my preferred lineup for the game. Here's the thing. There is nothing in this match except for home field advantage, home pitch advantage, a home game, whatever the reference is in Wales involving football, for whoever wins the game between Port Vale and Wrexham. Both teams have qualified for the knockout rounds, and so the winner, whether that be on penalty kicks or in full time, they're going to end up having the home match when the draw is made. The other team is going to end up getting an away match. So that's the only thing that we're really playing for. Other than that, there is absolutely nothing in this game. And so what does that mean? I do not want starters playing at all, unless they have to as qualified players. So I went and started to look at the lineup and say, who is available that satisfies the rules, that will give us a qualifying lineup that we can end up putting out there, and came up with that. So let's take a look at that. And first, just really quickly to jump into the EFL regulations, I know that it's boring and it's dry and I'm not going to post them up here. It just basically means this. You need to have a full available strength squad. What does that mean? You need to have 4 qualifying players. Who's a qualifying player? Well, anybody who played for the first team in the game immediately prior. Anybody who will play, you can correct it by putting somebody out there after that was in the lineup today, wasn't in the first team one, but will play in the subsequent following game, or is in the list of 10 players who have most frequently started and made first team fixture appearances. But most importantly, and the one that's most relevant and where everybody seems to check off the boxes, those that have made 40 or more starting appearances for first team fixtures or international equivalents, and not limited to the same club or season. So in their career. And there are a lot of people who then end up satisfying the box there. And here's the thing, you only need 4 of them. So I've gone through my list and I'm going to post it up there and everyone's going to get it and they're going to panic. But think about this, the game means nothing but the difference between a home game and an away game in the EFL Trophy, and whatever value put on that, I don't ascribe much to it at all. Do I care if we get knocked out of the EFL Trophy? Not at all. Not at all. Would I like to win it? Will I change my mind if we're in Wembley? Sure. But let's get through it by making sure that we're preserving ourselves from injuries. Can you imagine Parky if he puts out Moles or McLean or somebody, even though they're suspended for the Gillingham game, and he puts them out and they end up getting battered and something happens and they're out for a couple of weeks? We are dealing with too many injuries. It's a war of attrition in League 2. We're figuring that out. And so I don't want any injury. So here's my starting lineup. Luke McNicholas. I know that Howard is the other option, and I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to him starting, but I don't want Howard going down, because if he goes down, we're dealing with Ogonkwo, who's been amazing, but if he needs a spell, needs some relief, gets a knock, we don't have a backup. And that's not the situation that I think we want to be in. A little bit of management here. McNicholas gets the start for me. So let's jump into then where I think we can go in the defensive backs. We had Aaron James come out as a wing back on the right side, in the match against Salford City. He played 63 minutes in that game. Did a remarkable job. Welsh Beast and I chatted about it. I think he can fit in, but he's more naturally, as I understand it, a defender, so I'm putting him as one of the center backs. Another player who I think fits in the center back role, Callum McFadden. He's been with the club for an extended period, 29 years of age. He hasn't had a go since the EFL Cup game against Wigan, where he played 57 minutes. He's not in our 22-man squad, but that doesn't matter for the purposes of trophy games. And he satisfies one of the four outfield player requirements of those who have had 40 games or more. So I say throw out McFadden, check the box on that one, and then let's keep back to the youth. The next one, Max Cleworth, he's due for a run out. I'm not aware of any injury issues, and so I say tap the young man on the shoulder, send him on out there, and get it all done. Finally, we're going to end up having to look at who we're going to put in the wing-back positions. Bryce Hosanna didn't make the 22-man squad, 24 years of age. Obviously, he had a significant run-out last year and was quite involved in the games, and I think he's due to be able to get first-team time in this trophy competition, and so you put out Bryce Hosanna and you let him run wild for the entirety of the game. That would be my plan. The other wing-back, I'm going to reach into the youth squad and give a debut, as I understand it from Transfer Market, 18-year-old Daniel Thomas Davis getting a shot. As I went and just said, who can play wing-back that's with the youth team, and Transfer Market said that's his position, and I said it's good enough for me. Not looking to get, I know some people were talking about McLean going out there, some people were talking about Ford getting some minutes. The idea of somebody getting injured, I don't want that risk, and so I say run the young guys out. Looking at the midfield then, I'm attempting to go young. Play those that need some time, and there's two youngsters and one veteran that I've put into the group, someone sort of to anchor things, I guess you could say. I went with Owen Cushion, who I recall being listed as a sub in a trophy match, but didn't get out there, and to me that's good enough. If you're going to list him as a reserve, then for this game he gets his debut start, and so I say we put out the young man. January 5th 2005, man, I am getting old when players of that vintage are getting starts out into the league. 18 years of age, and so give him his debut start. Maybe a little bit more controversial, but I've put Luke Young as captain of the squad and sending him out there. We've seen him for 4 minutes against Notts, but he hasn't had a start since the Stockport County game back in match week 9. We only need 4 qualifying players, and we've got McFadden, we've got Cleworth, we've got Hosanna, Young, and I'm going to get to the next one, Waters, I'm going to suggest up front. And so, but for me, you can take Young out if there's somebody else in the midfield. I tried to find somebody on our first team that could maybe get some minutes, didn't see them, went to the youth team. I have no idea, no reference to any name other than Cushions, so I decided let's pick a veteran and put them in there to sort of anchor things. Luke Young goes out, gets some minutes. It works for me. The other one that I put in the midfield was young Mr. Harry Ashfield, who got a debut appearance in one of the trophy matches, and so if he's good enough to start there, or good enough to play there, sorry, he's good enough to have a run out here, and so give him a shot at minutes and time and strutting his stuff and an opportunity to showcase again. The other two up front, well, going to go with a little bit more experience. I've heard some people say that Palmer should be arrested, but maybe Dalby should go out. Mullen might play because he's suspended. Again, I do not want the expletive problem of an injury occurring. So for me, Waters gets his run out. Obviously came in, he had a case of the yips. He hasn't been able to connect on things while he's been putting on a Wrexham jersey. We haven't seen him now since the EFL Cup match against Bradford City. And before that, he had 3 runouts where he had limited time coming off the bench, 60 minutes, 19 minutes, and 8. But give him his opportunity. I don't see any reason why we'd want to play anybody else, and he's going to be full of vinegar, to piss and vinegar, to go and prove his worth, and so give it to him, give him the chance, send it out to him. And the final one, Mr. Bickerstaff, who we haven't seen really since, well, I think Bradford City as well, to be fair, and he's had 5 match week games before not making the 22-man roster, and so for me, Mr. Bickerstaff gets his minutes as well. The reserves, I've listed a bunch of names, some potential other names. Hall is the backup. Howard could go in there. McNicholas could slide down if Howard comes in. I put Mullen on the bench, but only for one reason and one reason only. If it goes to penalty kicks, last minute sub, he can go in, he can get some glory. It's a fun little time for him to sit on the bench and experience the game and the opportunity. I put McLean there for really the same reason, in case there's an injury or something else, he may end up getting drawn in. Other than that, yeah, I made the mistake and I put Young. I don't know whether you put Jordan Davies. I don't know if there's another midfielder. It's that youth midfield that I'm just not confident enough, haven't seen really anything. So I'm not Wonder Boy, I'm not in the know. Fill whoever you can. The other debut potential is Edwards. And the only reason I say that is because if I recall correctly, he was listed as a reserve and the name looked familiar in a previous game. So look, that's my lineup and people are going to think I'm nuts, but let's talk about it. Just think about it. If somebody goes down, anybody goes down that gets minutes and ends up injuring themselves for any extended period of time, do we really want to risk that in a game where the only thing that matters, we could lose 20-0, and the only thing that we lose for it is we have to play an away match in the first knockout round of the EFL Trophy. Big deal. So I know that may be frustrating for people who have bought tickets and are interested in going and watching the Stars play, and hey, there's tickets available. Last I heard there was only 6,000 that sold. I would love to be, like if it was me, I'm going to this game because I want to see the youth get an opportunity. I think that's exciting that it's not going to just be the regular run out. So that's my take on it. Let me know your thoughts. Slam me in the comments, fire it up on Twitter, freak out if you feel it's necessary, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, I'm not Parky. Maybe with Mr. Harvey being the creator of the latest iteration of the EFL Trophy, what it's called, the Bristol Motor Sport BSM, BDM, no BSM, Bristol Sport Motors Trophy, whatever it is. Not the greatest prize, not the one that I want, and not the one that I think we should be striving for. But hey, if we get past this round, well, we were going to get past this round. If we get past this round, we have another home game, so be it. We can march on forward and continue to run out some young guys, maybe a little bit more competitive when the games matter. Rambled. The next issue that I want to talk about, there was a tweet today that came out with a media report regarding phosphate levels and condition number 3 in Wrexham's COP application, and Twitter went sideways. I think the key components of the article were glossed over, and so what I've done is I went and pulled the last 3 application proposals that were made by Wrexham AFC with respect to Mold Road. I've pulled them down. It's some 70 documents. I don't know if you guys are going to enjoy what ends up following. I'm not going to get too far into a deep dive, but if this is something people want me to do, just by way of background, if you haven't been to the channel before, I'm a barrister in Canada, so I have some experience with going through some of these documents. But more importantly, back when I was a young whippersnapper at 21, I was a elected city councillor in a small city in northern BC called Williams Lake. I was the co-chair of the Public Works Committee. I was responsible for looking over documents similar to what Wrexham has. Obviously different laws. What I'm saying is not legal advice by any stretch of the imagination, and what I'm saying may not have application because I don't understand all of the regulations and bylaws of Wrexham Council, but I have some familiarity with the language and the wording that's involved, so I'm just trying to cover that off, and I'm going to jump into it and you guys can tell me if you see any value. If not, I guess I'll see you guys later when you return to another video. Hit the subscribe button before you leave. If you've been living under a rock and you've missed that the COP is being redeveloped, well, I guess that's one issue. But more importantly, if you missed what the announcement was that everybody freaked out today, it was publicized in The Leader a bunch, as well as a number of different articles. And it was about a decision notice that was made by the Wrexham Borough last week. October 30th was the date that the notice came out, that refused an application to vary a condition that was put on the club with respect to the capacity of the club. There were a number of conditions that were put out there, and I'll bring up the letter at some point in time and you can have a look at some of the other conditions. But what it did is it said that the capacity of 5,500 had to be 4,900. The issue that was being cited, phosphate levels. And so a lot of people ended up freaking out. There was lots of jokes about piss and phosphate levels and pollution and those sorts of things. A lot of derision of the council regarding the process and the application process. And really, this isn't something that a lot of the council members have control of. If you review the letter and the cover letter that was sent out by Wrexham Council dated October 30th, is they end up particularizing condition 3. They reference that it was pursuant to their powers under section 96A of the Town and Country Planning Act, and they go through and there's 2 important things that are contained in this letter that you can see here. The first being the notes to the applicant. It says the applicant has advised that there is no right of appeal against the council's refusal to grant this non-material amendment. Okay, fair enough, no right of appeal, but people freaked out and said, well, that's not appropriate, there should be an appeal process. Well, I'm going to suggest that what happened was the wrong process was used, wrong forms were used. Just really quickly, I can bring up exactly what that plan application was, and you can see it here. There's not a lot of information that's contained within the actual plan application. But more importantly, in that cover letter, they go on to say two more things. The applicant has advised, so that's the council telling Wrexham AFC, to contact council to discuss other options and procedures for making the desired changes to the existing planning permission. Now, I've written, or I've been responsible for signing letters similar to other developers who have ended up using a process that's inappropriate, whether it be looking to do a variance, when that wasn't the mechanism, whether that was an application for a public hearing and that wasn't the mechanism, and saying, look, rather than me spelling out exactly what the pathway is for you, what the city and the municipality ends up doing, and the Wrexham County Borough, is that they send out a message that says, hey, off of official correspondence, give us a phone call and we'll tell you what needs to happen. They're going to have an obligation and probably a desire to push this through, but they've got to go through the right channels. And so to me, that's what that announcement was. It wasn't you're dead in the water. It's like, let's fix this up and clear up the process, you guys. The third one is, it said the applicant is advised to contact the council's head of community well-being and development prior to the preparation of detailed plans. So what is that saying? Don't waste your time doing this again and incurring more costs and us having to come up with a response, because we may end up ticking people off. They've done that. Twitter was ablaze with it. And so they're saying, let's just do this smartly, figure out the right process. Do I blame the author of the application process from Savills, Portia Banwell? Not at all. This stuff happens all the time with experienced engineers, experienced developers. And so there's no criticism. It's just the process is what the process is. And now they've given you the pathway. So take the pathway. In layman's terms, what does it mean? And I said this to Tim from Fearless in Devotion, is we go again. This is football terms. We had a little bit of a setback, not a big deal. Pathway's still there. So let's go score. Not the biggest concern that I have with the COP in the slightest. But let's have a look and talk about just exactly what this all means. When you want to look at what are phosphate levels, so what there's a link on the bottom of the page that says refer to the statement of applicants' rights and general information on our planning website here. And they take you to an info sheet. So I'm going to read this directly from the website. It says Natural Resources Wales has published new targets to reduce river phosphate levels in special areas of conservation across Wales. Why are they doing that? Well, phosphorus levels and why it affects our rivers. And they basically say, hey, climate control or climate change is happening. There's phosphorus coming from agriculture and from sewage. And the rivers in Wales are not passing new standards, and we've got to be able to get these phosphate levels under control. And so they've published new targets with the Joint Nature Conservation Committee, and they go about and say 60% of water bodies in Wales fail against these tighter targets to try to deal with changes as a result of climate change. With respect to Wrexham in particular, those special areas of conservation, again, they clearly identify that the River Dee is the one that is at issue. It's designated in the majority of Wrexham County boroughs located within its catchment, and it's failing against those Natural Resource Wales targets. And so therefore there's an obligation made by Welsh regulations to satisfy. This isn't the county, this is Welsh regulations to go ahead and satisfy. It's not unique to Wrexham, it's a part of everybody's local planning authority. And so you've got to go ahead and you've got to check some boxes. And so that's all this is just checking some boxes, and these were the wrong boxes we presented. So that's that. Compartmentalize it, put it away. Now we know what we're talking about with phosphate. To go back and give you some history, Natural Resources Wales, amongst a whole host of people, were invited to give comment with respect to the application to develop the Cop and Mold Road. There are some 54 files, and I'll put the list of PDFs here. Everything from geotechnical studies to environmental studies to match day assessments to transportation network, all of those things that are influenced by the increase in capacity. There are comments here and conditions that came as a consequence, but specific to the one that's at issue, Natural Resources Wales produced a 2-page letter. In that 2-page letter, and I'm going to put it up here, you can stop the screen if hopefully you may be able to read it. Now down at the bottom of the page it says a key requirement of the AA, which stands for Appropriate Assessment stage, is to provide a clear understanding of potential impact of a proposal. The appropriate assessment must contain complete, precise, and definitive findings and conclusions to ensure there is no reasonable scientific doubt remaining as to the effects of the proposed plan or project. And it goes down and says on the top of the second page, In our view, that appropriate assessment needs further significant development. There's been insufficient evidence has been provided in relation to the impacts of the development. Okay, so there's your pathway. You got to go get the evidence. You end up demonstrating it. We thought that we had the evidence. We may have used the wrong form. We may still have the appropriate evidence. But trying to suggest that it's not material rather than material, to me, this is telling the Wrexham Council to say ignore what the Welsh Government has said about the materiality of phosphate issues with respect to its capacity. It's not going to fly. The Wrexham Council is not going to peeve off the Welsh Government. And so they're just saying, just check the boxes, you guys, and go through the process and do this. Now, that letter was part of the original application. If you go to the Wrexham Council website, it's WRRP/2022/0725, and it is 54. Well, more. It's 54 documents and letters. That ended up being compiled into a letter of conditions of Wrexham Council, the third condition, and that decision date was made on January 12th of 2023. So in that decision, you scroll down to condition 3, and it says the number of spectators using the development shall not exceed 4,900. For the avoidance of all doubt, this applies to all football and non-football events held at the racecourse. You can take that letter again and scroll down further, and it ends up providing at section 3 an explanation. It says this condition is in the interests of protecting the River Dee and Bala Lake Special Area of Conservation in accordance with policy EC6 and the Wrexham Unitary Development Plan and technical advice number 5, nature conservation and planning. Have I looked at those documents? Hell no. I don't have time. I don't know if you guys are interested in me going through this entire process. I don't know if I have the technical expertise to be able to dive out what's contained specifically in those documents. That's typically the area of engineers and otherwise and consultants, and that ain't me. But I can understand Wales government, Natural Resources Wales said, this is a thing, and Wrexham is saying, okay, we need to get enough evidence to satisfy them that this is a thing, and until that happens, here's the condition and here's the reason why. So we have that material before us, like it or lump it. So that brief dive into the documents brings us back to one place, and that is the application September 22, 2023, and the letter from Savills and specifically Portia Branwell. And you go down to the bottom of that paragraph, and it says, it is clear that the use of Copstand at the full capacity is supported, subject to addressing the matters raised by Welsh Water. Well, the fact that there's a subject to there raises that that's conjecture, and it hasn't been finalized. It doesn't demonstrate the evidence, but it goes on further to say, it is timely to remove this condition because the Five Fords wastewater treatment facility has been granted a permit by NRW. What I don't get from that is the evidence that says that that permit being granted demonstrates that phosphate levels are lower, and that's what Wales Natural Resources, Wales Water requires. So go and get that information, and then we can assess it. It does go on further to say that, it does go on to say in conclusion on the second page that in these circumstances, it is clear that the actual impact is extremely low. Well, I don't see the evidence anywhere in the submissions that were provided to Wrexham Council to be able to make that determination. So it goes on further to say the restriction was largely imposed as a general embargo. Well, I don't know where that assumption came from and whether it's accurate or not, but clearly Wrexham Council saying no. Natural Resources, the government is not saying that it's just a general embargo approach, but that they have real concerns. I showed you that letter. But it says, nevertheless, given the changes to permitting the securing the removal of a restrictive condition to allow capacity is timely. Well, I don't even think it's timely because we haven't put a spade in the ground yet. And that brings me back to the larger concern that, how are we doing with the money? I mean, we went through the leveling up failure. We had a failure before that in securing the public funds. I've been involved in those meetings where as a council member, you go down to whatever ministry, whatever department, whatever politician, and you sit with other council members and the mayor, and you try to end up saying, hey, you've got this coolly named capital project, earmarked funds leveling up, or go for it 2024, or whatever they want to call it. And you say, here's what we're showing off for North Wales, and have a look at Wrexham, and we've got this Gateway project, and look at how beautiful it is, and all of the money. Now, I do think this is a beautiful project. Gateway project makes sense for an organization that's being Wrexham AFC, that's driving tourism in the industry. It's pulling in people like, hi, I'm one of them right here. I'm going to be there in April, I hope. It's pulling in people to bring in dollars and cents into the community. It's got the community buzzing. There's tourism opportunities, Welsh national team, all those things with the racecourse. It is full of buzz. It warrants public dollars. But this is Wrexham Council going and negotiating, going and spinning a tail and securing those funds. And I haven't heard that. And forget phosphate levels. Forget the sewage issue. Forget the Wrexham University and the property that they own and maybe being carved out and what to do with the student housing and all that sort of stuff. Doesn't matter. The money. That's what we're waiting on the announcement for. And Wrexham Council, you can. This is a tempest in a teapot, but let's keep the eye on the prize here and continue to drive forward with that. Look, I'm going to wrap that up. We're here with the watch party tomorrow, today, in a couple of hours, whatever it is. I'm going to try and have a nap, and then I got a work day, and then we'll do it for lunch. And be there for Gillingham. Exciting news with respect to Two Beards and a Podcast for the Aussies from Down Under, who are Wrexham fans who run their podcast. They're going to be joining us on The Hot Stove, which is where we have live chat and a couple of podcasters, and we end up basically taking questions from the people who attend that live. Will be a difficult one as far as timing concerns, because it's going to be late in the evening for me, which means it's later in the East Coast, which means it's ridiculous o'clock in Wales, but it will work for the Australians, and so I'm hoping to get some of the Aussies on. Hopefully I maybe have a couple of people who are able to connect that are regulars on the watch party, and we go on and keep building this. 1,000 subscribers is close. If you've enjoyed this at all, hit the subscribe button. If you want more of it, tell me in the comments below. I am more than happy to go through this sort of stuff in my spare time, I guess, as sick and twisted as that may be, to try and give you guys some idea on my take of what these documents speak to. But phosphate levels, not an issue. This is an easy problem for Wrexham to fix. They've just got to go through the process, and I don't doubt that they will. Anyway, this has been Shaun Driver and the Red Horde. Take care. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching the world. My name is Shaun Driver, and I'm muted. One day I'll get the microphone right. My name is Shaun Driver, this is the Red Horde, and yeah, we're live. Thank you for joining us. We've already got 35 people in here, and we're collecting numbers. We're only 5 minutes away from kickoff, and I'm excited to see exactly what happens with this lineup. Sort of close to what I expected. I will tell you, it's been an interesting morning. The cop video that you guys just watched, getting more take than sort of I expected. I'm a little bit surprised that people were taking interest, and thanks, Snowboard, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to chatting with you. I've got an idea for whatever it's worth, and wondering if I can pass it by you, and if you're interested, then we can see what's going on there. I'm interested to see what happens, both because Port Vale obviously has a younger squad than normal that is out there for them to partake in. We're obviously giving Dan Davies a run out. Hosanna's going to get a shot. Waters is back. Cleworth, who we haven't seen in a while. Young Aaron James in his proper position. And so there's a lot of fun in this one. I'd like to see Cushion and Ashfield get drawn into this game. And then Mullen, I hope he sits on the bench and he only comes in if this goes to penalty kicks, and he's the last minute substitute to be able to take part in that process. Yeah, backhanders, and some of that's formalized too, right? Like, a lot of people were talking about bribes and that sort of stuff, and you see development cost charges is something we have in Canada, which is where if you're going to put a transportation system in, or you're going to put require changing to lights and that sort of stuff, that they collect funds and hold them in reserve for everybody in the community. I mean, when I was on council, we withheld. I voted I was a deciding vote to withhold a university from building on the lakefront, just because it didn't have enough money in trees and beautification. So you do see a little bit of, hey, you give me more, I'll give you what you want. You give me a little bit more, I'll give you what you want. It's usually for the betterment of the city. It's not necessarily a bribe, but you only get one chance to do it right. And so I know somebody mentioned, David talked about, will they ever be able to expand to a Premier League stadium with these restrictions? I don't see why not. I mean, it's subject to the footprint being able to hold it and the expenses of the university there. That's going to be an issue on a go-forward basis. But each time they want to do a development, each ground that they want to upgrade, they're going to have to go through this entire process again. You hope, or I hope, with the gateway and the improvements to the train station, the maybe acquisition of the land that's owned by the Welsh in the southeast corner near Crispin Lane, and securing some of that area around there, they're going to be able to do more. Free for anyone, anywhere. As far as I know, Snowboard, the only option outside of the UK is through iFollow. So you're going to have to step up with the cash. I'm obviously not able to post any links on here. I can't show the game over my shoulder or anything creative like that. It has to be clean. Wrexham's obviously developed a reputation now as being somebody who craps down on these sorts of things. So not going to be able to do it, but I can see development happening incrementally, but every development's going to be a process, and they're going to have to check the boxes out each time. If you're not watching, the players just came out. We're wearing our red, Port Vale in their blue and gold. I'm excited just to see a different team get a run out, even though it's not going to be their starters. 9 injuries I'm anticipating. Thanks for that. I don't know. It's what I do for a living is kind of look at stuff like that. And past life, I was certainly heavily involved in it. So it's one area that I kind of know. Obviously, it doesn't directly apply to Wales and would require me looking at some bylaws to really get into it. But we'll see how it goes. Palmer without his beard. Yeah, that's a mistake. Won't see him today. No beard power. But yeah, certainly an incident and a bold move by him. Everything seems to be good as long as I can get the start clock going. We're already up to 40 people here for the chat. If you're interested in chatting, because of the last, I guess it's 2 chats ago now, we had some people from the opposing team come running in and start spamming and doing things. So just as a filter and control, we put on the 1 minute sub wait. So you're going to have to do that. You'll increase the subscribers. So that's always a good thing as we march towards 1,000. And I'm hoping to get to that sooner rather than later, with the expectation that if we monetize, other than buying my wife a bottle for all of the work she does with the munchkins, to make sure I can do this. He made a child cry. I can imagine. I probably made a lot of people cry. Those of the female persuasion, maybe more than others. I know I can't get rid of my beard because apparently I'd look like a frog. So it's got to stay in. Speaking of beards, Saturday, if I've got the link up on the channel if you go there, but we're going to have the podcast, the hot stove, chatting with the Aussie bearded folks. 3 beards, 1 podcast. That sounds horrible. That sounds like the wrong type of show to watch. Hey, WG, glad you're here. Might have some score updates. That'll be exciting. So we'll keep going as we get close to kickoff here, and I try to describe what's happening because I know we've got at least one who's not watching live. So I'll try and get into that, and looking forward to. It's a dead rubber, so does it really matter? Well, depends if you want home field advantage and I mean, away tickets or ticket sales are split between the parties, so maybe you want the largest stadium, depending on who you draw. Yeah, that was what I referenced backhandedly without saying it. So away we go. For those of you not watching, Port Vale is going to be attacking the tech end, the university end, the stock cold brew end, and they've got possession of the ball as it's cleared away. Wrexham going from left to right on your screen towards the infamous cop, as vacant as it is. Man, 5 people swarming young on that one, right on the midfield. They're at the midfield stripe. I don't know if there was pressure or that was just circumstance, but they were all over the ball. Possession all the way back to the keeper. Neither did I. I picked that up from Mark Griffiths, and I was like, it makes total sense. After I Googled it, just to make sure it was what it was. So, still possession. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get shot clocks up. I know the last time that there was a trophy match, it took me some time to find somebody who was going to have the shot clock. If not, I'm going to have to take it off of the scoreboard. Still possession by Port Vale as they approach the midfield stripe. And it looks like I've got stats, courtesy of Sofa Score. Cross into the box for Port Vale, clears out of the box, and we're good to go. Yeah, and it always seems to be something that we pick up on over time. I don't understand, but I can't go any faster than I'm at. This is where I'm watching it. Actually, I'm a little bit ahead on my scoreboard. I'm at the 137 mark, so I'll hit stop and count to 3. Yeah, we're close enough on that one. Still 83% possession by Port Vale, and they're still controlling it all in the back of the pitch and sort of just kicking it around between their back line and their goalkeeper as they're looking to do something getting out. Moving forward slowly. And I haven't looked at the possession stats for Port Vale. I do not know what their history is and their stats. I know that they've been struggling with respect to their recent performance And I think they only have 2 goals in their last 5 games total. Yeah, potential opponent next season, assuming they don't slip into, they're getting dangerously close. Obviously, League One has 4 down because we've got 4 up. So they're getting dangerously close to that relegation zone. They've got 9 injuries. I heard 5 in their back line. So they're dealing with the battle of the war of attrition, and it's going to be a thing for them moving forward. But yes, Port Vale are League One. Aaron James, long throw. Good throw back in. We've trying to gain possession, trying to switch over to the left, but a little bit ball too far, so it's going to be a throw in for Port Vale just on their side of the midfield stripe. And I've got discussions happening. Port Vale maintaining continued possession. Is this going to be a theme? Is this going to be like Mansfield, where we're going to have to look for that counter-attack? Steven, smart move. Hosanna with his pace down the right side. First time we're into their third. Looking, gets it back. James gets it all the way back to Aaron. Aaron James now up to the midfield stripe. James to Hosanna, but a bad first touch. Port Vale, the Valiants, get it back, and they go the other way. I guess if you're going to watch 2 teams play, Brendan, a dead rubber is the one that you want to watch, because you just kind of maybe hope that it gets to penalty kicks, and then you sit there and get stuck in. I don't know. Nice sliding tackle by us. We kick it all the way down, but it's going to roll too far for Bickerstaff to get to it. So he's putting pressure on the goalkeeper, and he's just going to move it forward to the right side. And Port Vale coming out. Hey, Mike. Nice to have you. Again, we've got lots of people sitting here watching, 57. To take part in the chat, feel free to do so. You can just hit that subscribe button and wait a minute and you're in. Hoping not to discourage everybody, but we put that one up there. I should maybe put the etiquette rules up just temporarily. That resulted as a consequence of the last stream we did on Saturday. So, and the biggest thing, no spoilers. I'm obviously about a minute behind. I'm at the 6-minute mark. You can see that. So if you know there's a goal coming, just ask you to wait, or a red card or something dramatic happening. Just hold off. We'll have an opportunity to blast and celebrate as I get caught up. I can't speed up the time it takes for everything to move forward. Port Vale with it, right field side. Held off. Jordan Davis gets it to the middle, or edging towards the penalty area. And, oh, that was a tough challenge. Aaron James got out there with the right. I don't know if he's going to get anything for that. I think it just... It's interesting seeing the Bristol Sports Motors Cup stuff popping up. Yeah, see, that's what I'm not looking forward to. I know that's not happening, but it's still 0-0. Unless something happens in the next 30 seconds where from this free kick it goes the other way in a rapid, quick hurry. But that's what I'm not looking for. And if it happens in real time, then I have to end up saying goodbye to you. And I don't want to have to block people. Not what I'm looking to do. What's up, Shaun? Chat? Are you asking me? Just wide of the goal for that free kick. Well pushed out, but McAlinden? No. McNicholas able to get out there. 6,000 people plus. I don't know what the exact stadium is. 800 coming from Port Vale. I don't know exactly what that is, but it sounds like it's fairly good. Oh, hello, hello. Or was he... That was the prediction. I don't even know what to predict here because I haven't looked at Port Vale's quality with all of their subs and their lineup as well. It's going to be tough to know exactly what's going to happen in this one. We're going to have a knockout round. The only question, home or away, and the nature of the competition. I mean, there's something to be said about the group play that you'd expect that if you're the top team and with a home game that you'll get an easier draw, but everything goes in and they're going to have a draw and pick it out of a hat. So we shall see what happens. Drops loose to the right side. Port Vale approaching middle of the pitch, over to the right, getting closer to the penalty area, looking for a cross. Here comes, headed. McNicholas right there. I don't know if it's their last 10 games. Well, they did win their EFL Cup match, obviously. They're into the round of 16 now, and they've got a Tier 2 league championship team for the... I can't remember who it is, but they took out Mansfield Town was the first team to beat them this season in any competition before we took Mansfield out in the FA. Bickerstaff getting up to Waters. Waters towards the penalty area, calling for a handball, but they don't call it, and I didn't really see it, so I don't really know. Oh, Waters with a nick. He gets it over to Bickerstaff into the area, outside the box, searching. Defender right there, not able to find anybody. That was Deborah. That was impressive defending, to be fair. He was right with him the entire time. So Dan Davies pulls it out, brings it back, but tough pass back to the midfield, so it ends up resulting in Port Vale failing to get an opportunity. Shot on goal, wide left. A little bit of action. I'll take it. That was the first time that we've really had a sniff. Listening to the crowd starting to pick it up. That's what I said during my lunch break, and then I got somebody... Okay. I don't have to worry about that commitment. Momentum meter is leading a long way towards Port Vale, that's for sure. I would love for Bickerstaff to get rolling. You know what? I'll take everybody rolling, so take the opportunity to get that done, and I will certainly be a happier man for it. Oh, that was a nice ball. Were we offside? Flag stays down. Cross into the box. Oh, too far to the right. Not much in that one. Mark thinks there was a slip there from Waters, but he gets over there. I think he was looking for a cross, and he just ended up pulling it over to the right. It's not much of a threat, to be fair. Wrexham with a continued spell. Going to have a throw in here from... It gets all the way back. I'm going to bring the Wrexham lineup up because there's some numbers that obviously I don't recognize, and so just trying to stay on top. Aaron James down the left side. Interplay into our third. Headed out. We're going to have a throw. And then Jordan and Dan, that's going to be a confusing one. I'm going to have to call them by full names for the first time. Bounces out. We're going to get a throw in, I believe. That should be our throw in. Oh, no, they're giving it to Port Vale. Robert, it's a pleasure to see you. Hey, always Wrexham for the win. Even in games that don't matter. They could be our opponents, yep. Or well, they could be our opponents if we're not promoted too. To be fair, with how the League One table is looking, I should actually bring up the League One table just to have it, because I did not do a deep dive because I was too busy looking at The cop situation. Hey, now, none of that. Maybe I need a new chat etiquette rule. McAlinden now. Right side. Got Hosanna. Hosanna there. He's into the penalty area. Lots of space. Cross in front of the box. Oh, well nicked away by the defender. And there was two players on the other side for Wrexham ready to pounce on a ball in an open net. So that was a very prudent defensive stop. Pretty good. Not bad, eh, Jennifer? I mean, it's what I would have actually put out more youth, obviously, but I just hope nobody goes down. That's all we want in this one is no injuries, get through it, and bang some of the let out. Oh, good ball by Port Vale into the box for us. I will tell you, there have been some really nice passes, both on the right side for each team, that are bypassing our defense or their defense and getting in late chances. But that was Clearworth getting that one clear. And so, yeah, Wigan at 19. I thought Port Vale was lower than that, 16, but they've lost a bunch in a row. And so I don't know if they'll fall into 21st or below and end up coming down, but they're close. And a Vale fan. Always nice to have a Vale fan, especially if you've hit the subscribe button and you've decided to chat, which is weird. Unless you were subscribing long term, I would have expected my number to go up by clicking the button, but maybe I'm a little bit behind. I don't know. Yeah, it's been nice. It took us a while to get going, but we carried some momentum for a while, and now Port Vale back with possession, doing the same. Deborah moving forward down the left side. Just dancing with the ball down the midfield stripe. That was Bickerstaff all the way back to try to defend him at the midfield stripe, but he gets it away. Port Vale in the middle. Walters clears it away. And nicely stripped away there. I think that was Davis getting that back. Jordan Davis getting that back. Vale recovers. Just bouncing around just inside the midfield stripe for Port Vale for an extended period. It is a shame. I think it's almost intriguing as well, or it is intriguing that Rosie and Mullen both are out for Saturday's games as a consequence of, well, card accumulation on one, red on the other. Noel McLean, yeah, well, we'll test the depth. Gillingham sure came out like banshees for the start of the season. I mean, they were in first for the first 4 weeks and then first again in the 8th week, and then they've sort of fallen off. So Bickerstaff flips it up in the air, plays it to himself. No support really coming up. Slate getting there. He's got support. Dan Davis up. Bad first touch by Dan. Oh, and then he takes a foul coming back the other way. At the 40-minute mark, Robert with the Sky Bet bid, the Bet 365, whatever you want to call it. If you're doing prop bets, you can blame Robert if it doesn't hit at the 40th minute. Oh, at 40 likes, that would be even better. I'll take that. Well done by Jordan Davis. Turns it over. McAlinden all the way up. Gets it up to Bickerstaff. Is he going to get a shot away? He does, right into the keeper's breadbasket. Caught it. No challenges there. 40 thumbs up. That's a long time. I don't know where he could have gone with that one, to be fair. Had a defender on his left, and so had to go right, and the goalie saw that. Slid over. But we will take that one as we continue to press. Position getting closer to normal. It was as high as 83% for Port Vale. We're now at 59%, 41%. We didn't include him in our registered 22, and it's a trophy game. Unregistered players can play, which is why you see, Bickerstaff's young. He could still go. Dan Davies is in. Dan Davis is in. Hosanna's in. McNicholas is in, all unregistered. And then we're expecting off of the bench. I'd like to see Ashfield and Cushion get their opportunity, and they're not registered. So we only have to have 4 qualified outfield players, and we've got way more than that. Long cross over, chested down. Well done by Hosanna to clear that one up. Good luck, Jennifer. Thanks for the sacrifice. For those of you that are new, goals always happen when somebody goes to the bog, so it's an obligation to announce when you go. We all celebrate the glory of poutine, and we... not true. Not all of us. And we announce our trips to the bog. Retrieve the ball, no foul, Vale player down. We're going to play it out. I don't know if... I think that was the Vale player hurting themselves when they went down. And see, this is why you're always nervous. I don't know if that's a starter, but they're calling somebody in to have a look at him. And when you see somebody go down away from the ball, did it to themselves, you kind of go, uh-oh, is that like a serious injury that just happened? Yeah, he just went down, and I think that's his left leg. Ankle, knee. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there. Didn't look like he twisted anything. It looked like maybe just the impact, kind of turf monster grabbed him a little bit. But ratchet up the injury time as everybody goes and grabs a sip of water. Yeah, that one slipped by me, the accumulation of yellows. I was so busy watching Lee and Ewan O'Connell, who were sitting on 4 for the longest time, that I didn't see McLean and Mullen come racing up and run into 10 yellows. No, sorry, 5 yellows before the 19 game mark. So we're at what, 17? So hoping we can get resets at 19. So hoping we can get there, and then we reset the number, and then you've got to get up to 10. 7 degrees. That works for me in Canadian language. I don't know for the those that are Fahrenheit. What would that be? 14 plus 32, 46, 47 degrees? 48 degrees Fahrenheit? Something like that. The joys of our wonderful American cousins is we learn all of these ways to convert miles and Fahrenheit in our head. We're back in action. Header out of bounds. Throw in for us, right side of the pitch. Jackson Reeves is Alora. We'll take it. I'll try to remember. Oh, nice little dance. Port Vale coming with gusto, but ended up giving it up, and now it's a big scramble in the midfield right at the center of the field, and we gain control all the way back to McNicholas. Port Vale's sitting in 16th. They came out and looked quite well at the start of the season, and then they've been on a rash of bad luck. Tough results. They've been doing exceptionally well in the EFL Cup. They're into the round of 16, and so they're going to get a chance to get really stuck in. And they've got a championship team. I can't remember who it is in the next round. Maybe I can look that up here. Yeah, they're sitting in. They were as high as second after the 8th week, and then they've just lost draw. They haven't won since week 8, and they're entered into their 17th week. And so that brought them from second all the way down to 16th. So they're scrambling to hold on. And they've got Middlesbrough November 19th in the quarterfinals. And those quarterfinals will be interesting. I think they're the lowest team left in the EFL Cup. It's got Everton against Fulham, Port Vale against Middlesbrough, Chelsea, Newcastle United, Liverpool, and West Ham United. So Somebody from the non-Premier League will make it into the semifinals, and it could be Port Vale, despite what's going through. Possession right now, roughly 57%, 43% Port Vale. Shots are still 2-2. Lots of just ticky-tack stuff in the middle of the pitch, and then comes back for a quick reprieve before it gets spun out. Thanks for the Middlesbrough. I see that now that I've looked it up. Tyler, appreciate you. Look forward to chatting with you in a minute when you jump in. Francis, I have no idea. We should be. Brilliant marketing by Gatorade, though. Hosanna with it. Midfield stripe. Back. Aaron James, who's been looking comfortable back there in his role. All the way back to McNicholas. Oof. Not the most confident of clears over to Aaron James, but away he goes. Long ball. Crosses the middle of the pitch. Vale knocks it down. And the Valiants possession at the midfield stripe. Crowd is subdued at the moment. Lots of murmur. Not so much of a chant, but I guess that's the case where you're... It's almost like a scrimmage. I like Boyle. I mean, is he... I don't know if he's just getting back from injury or why he hasn't been in all the time, but I'm a massive fan of Boyle. Bog is a British slang word. That's something we've adopted. I do have to pick up because somebody took it. Home field, home pitch. What is it called when you have home field advantage? Because I got called out on that on Twitter by somebody who, a League One team fan. I don't know why he was commenting on my stuff, but geez, Laura, that's a big compliment. You're the best YouTuber. Hikes. I am 3,447th largest YouTube channel in Canada. I've learned that today. Tied with like 1,000 other people. But the more subscribers I get, the higher I climb. I like to crack the top 3,000s. I was looking at the top 100 and I was like, yeah, I'll never get to that. Celine Dion chasing her down. I would like to at some point. I think my goal is to have a subscriber count that's higher than a team that's playing in League Two, and I think that's around the 3,000 mark. So that'll be the next goal. I'll have to look it up. Port Vale danced between two players. Long range shot, curling left, but just off. That was really impressive, to be fair. Center back all the way forward, and he makes that play. It's one of those ones you hit that curling shot that's out to the far post, and you can see it curling in. You're like, I hope it doesn't have enough legs to get over. And it didn't. It went about 2-3 feet wide, but that was Deborah with... He danced past McElhendon, and Hosanna gave him the outside, so he took it. Right foot, and whew, not by much. Port Vale again back with the control. We're at 61% now. 39% for us. Just outside the penalty area. Cuts in. Edge of the box. Cleared away. Boyle well done with the sliding tackle to knock that away. Cleared off. And we look to push it down the field. Bickerstaff is there. Went off his heels. And he was trying to get the call, but it's not with us. Home advantage. Home or away. Carol, I've been vlogging since I started the channel in May, but didn't put my first video out until the end of June. My most popular video, and if you're interested, I was looking into the £20 million announcement from Fleur, and that one got 5,700 views. That's by far the most popular of the videos that I've had that's out there. Although I've got a couple lives. Swindon Town. No, not Swindon Town. Stockport County boosted me during that 5-0 game, coming in and having a chat. Ooh. I don't know if you guys got that audio problem. Oh, great save by McNicholas. That was a screamer that came in up to the top right corner. just from the left side, front of the box, right footer, and McNicholas gets there and parries up the right hand and gets that away. That was Chislett with the exceptional strike and an even better save. Called on, McNicholas answers. I'm curious to talk about with Andrew. I'm hoping he joins because obviously he knows McNicholas from playing in Ireland. Cross comes in, clears away. It's going to go for another corner. I'm getting like Morse code in my ears here. Somebody sending an SOS to the world. I don't know if everybody's getting that who's watching iFollow along with me. Or if that's just my computer. Yeah, Carol, I'm trying. I want to do things like I've been working on, the longest project in the world, which is I want to do a real deep dive into the academy, and I want to do a deep dive into Alex Hamilton in the off season, and I may end up looking at the Cop here a little bit more because obviously this latest video got some hits and got some intrigue and brought some people over. So that's the intention. Is I don't have the capacity to talk about all the players and who's who and what's what yet. So for me, that's the only contribution I can make. So I'm doing it. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, Marks and Spencer's. Man, did people blow up with that? Lots of people who are non-Wrexham fans saying that they're going to boycott M&S because of the advertisements and the little Wrexham cookies that were in there, the ornament, and some even say the gloves look like a Wrexham badge. But more money for the club, always a good thing. More money if you follow iFollow. And despite Wrexham's crackdown on its YouTube creators, that's got to be offside. Chislett, not offside? No offside, so Aaron James is there to meet him in the corner. Hey, Aaron James, strong in the tackle. Get in there and bully him, but the ball ends up back. I believe that's Walters. Yeah, if they're sending a message, we're all clueless, aren't we, Brendan? Long cross into the box by the Valiants. It's headed away. Possession 63-37. We're up to 4 shots as Port Vale looks to apply some more pressure. No, Marks is talking about that as well. Poor, that's going to be a Vale throw as it came back and played to us, and the bad touch, and so it went out. Well, Francis, I thought that came out before our first one, so there was some antipathy towards that. But if you go on Twitter and you look up and you look at the video from M&S with the actual video of Rob and Ryan, they're like, "Why are you supporting this Hollywood club? I'm not supporting M&S anymore." There was not as controversial as This Christmas, I think, or that's what they called it, or This Miss. I haven't seen that ad, but I take it from the controversy that was the first part, and then they peeved opponent fans. Oh, nice ball again into the right side, cross in danger, goal. Wow, that's an excellent goal by Port Vale. Thomas pumps that one in, came over to the right side, split our center backs over to the right, and they just went into that soft space onto the right, crossed it across the face. There's nothing McNicholas could have done on that one. Vale goes up 1-0. Don't know what you can do as far as the back line there. So Conlon has it, plays it over to the middle of the pitch. Walters gets it up. That was Walters with the really nice ball that just to the right of Davies and the other side of Boyle, and he just crosses it over. Nobody's there, and Thomas grabs it and pumps that one in, no doubt. So I don't know if Davies can play better. I don't know if the expectation is there that Boyle's going to deny the ground pass in, but in any event, that was tic-tac-toe, as we say in hockey. Found the back of the twine. Put the bad guys up 1-0. Aaron James moving forward. Stoppage, another valiant down. John, yeah. I thought of you as soon as I saw McNicholas was up. I was like, John's not going to be happy. And hey, he needs minutes, but he's also a KG veteran. And I am a fan of Howard. He's a good soldier. He's a capable goalkeeper. But I think you have to take these games and give it away, because my biggest fear is if he goes down, could you imagine having Ogonko and having to bring, like, do you bring somebody in if you don't have a backup? I don't feel confident, especially I think from what Andrew said, McNicholas. He's not that confident in him, so they're not playing because the game doesn't mean anything. Both teams, okay, that was them passing forward. I thought that was a giveaway for a second. Both Port Vale and Wrexham are into the knockout rounds in the EFL Trophy. So the EFL Trophy match, this one doesn't mean anything. We're both, except for the winner is going to get home pitch advantage. They'll play a home game. The loser will have to go and travel. But other than that, there's nothing to play for. We could lose 20-0 and the result would be the same, or beat Port Vale 20-0 and the result would be the same. So it's an opportunity to preserve yourself, save some people from injury, and move forward. And I just have to check, do I have Colombia? I do have Colombia on my list. Well, that was a strong challenge, but well played. Similar to James, the referee, letting them get into those tough, hard challenges and push-offs with each other, which I'm okay with. Left side again. I'm just going to change the iFollow ticker if you haven't been here before. There's the shout out of the countries that we've got on the list. I don't think I actually added Estonia and Luxembourg, which were in the last one to the list. But for anybody else, if you're from a country that's not listed there, feel free to let us know as we continue to add to the map and scratch off those countries that have appeared for a Wrexham AFC match through the watch party. No problem, Juan. Thanks for showing up. I haven't seen the white paper, to be fair. I've seen the report of the Tories that came out 2 or 3 years ago about football and what they need to do to improve it. It's something I want to incorporate into a potential longer video in the off season, or if I just find more time, I suppose. Aaron James, long ball back to us. Could you imagine, like I said this in the video before, but I'm just trying to think, how much anger would you play if Mullen was out there or Lee was out there and they end up blowing an ACL or doing some serious damage and they're out for 2-3 months in a trophy game that means absolutely nothing, right? Like I don't want to see Mullen coming off the bench or McLean coming off the bench unless it gets into penalty kicks and you just want to have somebody who's confident taking them. I don't care if it's 5-0. I want Ashfield to come in. I want Cushion to get a chance to come out. I want to see that. So we've got the ball. Hosanna runs up, plays it forward over to Bickerstaff. He's staying up there in the box. Waters is there. More support coming over. Bickerstaff looking to dance. Cross in. Waters. Yeah. Wrong angle. He was in front and moving from left to right, and the ball came into him. I don't know what he could do in those circumstances. I do have Germany on the list. Did I not add it? But it is up there. Yep, there it is right after the Netherlands as it just ticks by. That's a good idea, Francis. I can do that during the break, alphabetize the list. I know with the U.S. states, I might as well flip it. I've got the ones that I have listed. I should probably change it to the ones that I don't, because I think it's 22 states left, and then only 4 provinces. So if you're Canadian and you are from Saskatchewan, PEI, New Brunswick, or Newfoundland, let me know. And I even have Nunavut as one of the territories, so I'll take the Northwest Territories and the Yukon as well. Port Vale into the box, dancing with it, blocked out, and so well done by it. And I missed who ended up having that block, but well done. Bickerstaff coming back in support in the middle of the field, and it moves over to the right-hand side. Yes, sorry, Jackson Reeves. I appreciate that. I'll go with Jackson. McNicholas grabs it. We've got it under control. Possession here now. Lots of attack momentum. 65-35. Shots are 6-3 as we're nearing the end of the half. Not a lot of passion, not a lot of fire, a little bit of a kick around, but certainly that interplay through our back line to the soft space that you would expect in a 3-5-2, being manipulated by Port Vale. And you know what? I'll give them to the coach. Port Vale, I saw them against Mansfield Town, and they showed Mansfield, you run at them. And that's how you score. Not what they're necessarily doing here. Here, they've changed their strategy, recognized 3-5-2. So what are we doing? We're going to pump it into that soft spot in the corner of the pitch, take advantage of the penalty area, and go for the crosses. And they've done that well. So it demonstrates the capacity of Port Vale to change its tactics depending on what and who they're facing as they move forward again into the soft space on the left-hand side. Hosanna over there matching. He's moving towards the penalty area, cross into the box, headed away by the center back that was there. Cleworth got that, and Port Vale collects. Waters sure is struggling. I mean, he came in with all of the pomp and pageantry and just hasn't been able to figure it out. Mike, yes, and I was hoping to do him Sunday and keep him at 1 p.m. I've got the Aussies are joining. Two Beards and a Wrexham AFC podcast. Adrian and Rousey are going to join Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. It'll be ridiculous o'clock, I think 1 o'clock in the morning out in Wales or the UK. And will be an afternoon affair, 12 noon, I think, Sydney. So the two of us, it'll be the most beards on a podcast in Wrexham AFC's history, with three of us showing live to just chat about whatever you guys do with the chat and talk with them. Yeah, Brendan, I get that. He came in was so positive, like all the stock. He was a League 2 Player of the Year. You expected another great pass, splitting us down to the left side, and here they come forward, and well done. Aaron James with a nice little tackle. That's 2. Aaron James looking very, very confident and comfortable back there. Some of his passes back a little bit suspect, but as far as positioning and his ability to take ball, he's been looking good. More Valiant's pressure here. Left side taking on Hosanna. Hey, I'm all for it. Just because I try to refrain, at least when I'm live. But I expect it to be a lot more banter. And so their channel, my channel, I actually don't know exactly what theirs was. But you can watch through theirs. I think that they're planning to put it up. So we'll be simultaneously streaming from both channels. More pressure cross in, going to go out. That was a bad cross at the end of the day. But it went all the way across. So you're looking for at Two Beards Media is their YouTube channel if you're looking for it. And I think I put in the description of the link you can find for the podcast video that's up, as is the Gillingham match that we'll have on Saturday. Mike, I would love that. I'm looking to, whether it be podcasters, whether it be people who aren't on podcasts, I'd eventually like to get maybe a couple players or off-season time or otherwise. Mr. Griffiths himself, whoever's interested in coming in and chatting, and give the fans the direct access to have an opportunity to chat with them. Might have to increase the subscribe buffer to like 10 minutes for those ones to make sure we don't get spammed with too much stuff. But I think it'd be fun. No, Jennifer, you are not the luck. Not today. So at Two Beards Media, go ahead and subscribe to their channel too while you're at it. I'm all for every Wrexham AFC content creator. I'm for following, and definitely a supporter of that. Thanks, Ivan, for subscribing. With that last name, I'm curious where you're watching from, because obviously we've got the ticker here to see where people are viewing from. I appreciate that, Mike. Inbox me, Twitter, driver@theredhorde.com. Either way, that works for me. It's those kicks into that soft area on the right side. They just flick them every single time through our players. It's impressive and frustrating to watch at the same time. Boyle all the way forward. We're on the run here. Waters taking on one guy. Can he take him on the shoulder? Yeah, I had to keep going. He slowed down, and that's going to put him into problems. I know it's difficult in that circumstance, but I think he had to take that full-on run and just have a blitz at him because as soon as he slowed down, the Valiant that was chasing him down was able to catch up and take the ball away from him. Throw in for us from the right side. No Tozer. Number 10. Thomas? Is it Thomas? Josh Thomas. Nicely. Oz was right there and just missed it from that throw, and Bickerstaff couldn't get it up, and he was going down and kind of got tangled up, and as he was going, his right foot ended up pushing it up over the crossbar. Oh, no, it wasn't 10. It was Chisholm that had the first ball in. It was Josh Thomas that got the cross. Was punched over to the right side. Ball came across. Port Vale has been exceptional taking on the 3-5-2 and just playing it into the corners either side of the penalty box, the penalty area. And then getting the crosses in, and that one connected, and there was nothing Mackleton could do. Two-thirds possession for the Valiants. They've got it again. We've got a first touch, but we give it away. Regain again, but there's a foul wall. Free kick midfield. Yeah, 44. Good shout. John's got me covered. Davies, well done. Under pressure, two guys there, but it's going to be a throw-in. Got mobbed in the corner, not much they could do. It rolled out, but fortunately went for a throw rather than a corner. And are they running somebody in for the long throw? I know I get in trouble every time I say that, but when you watch the Rugby World Cup, man, their replay system is an absolute dream. And I don't know why we can't implement that into football other than having to maybe admit as footballers that rugby got it right. And if that's just causes vomit-inducing outcomes, I don't know. 3 minutes of extra time. Thank you, W&G. Lots of earlier games that started at 11 my time instead of 11:30. 3 instead of 3:30. Aaron James, right side. Got some position there. Possession. McAlinden gets it back, and it was a long, hopeful search. Not there. Outside of the box, so it has to get cleared. Is that going to go out into touch? It will. Aaron James throws it to Hosanna to play it in. Hosanna gets it in. I'd like to see a little bit of a push here for the last 3 minutes. Well played. Hosanna plays it back to Hosanna down the right side, looking for a cross. He's got two guys in front of him. Is he able to get there? 4 into the box if he can get it there, but he's going to have to play it. 3 guys there cycling him, swarming him. So he tries a switch. Young. Great tackle, goals out, and we're going to have to get the throw in. Tennis Hawkeye? Yeah, I don't know if you can get that instantaneous because you have to have that right down the line, right? But can you imagine the beep going off all the time? Hosanna, Waters fed him. He's going towards the center. Bit of a tackle. More of a mistake in the challenge, so no card, but the valiant player that was standing there, who would that be wearing number 24? Reese Walters sort of standing there, doesn't get out of the way, bumps into us, and Hosanna goes down. Attempting to do the tackle, tried to get out of it, didn't get out of the way. And here comes Luke Young and Jordan Davis having a look at, what is this, 20 yards out, 25 yards out? 2-man wall. Davis right into the head of the wall. into the box. Waters is there, tries to box out, gets it back. Ball's loose. Davis gets it, still loose in the box. Who wants it? Who's got it? It's still there. Scramble, scramble, scramble. Headed, comes out, headed back in, headed away, headed back. Jesus. Went to a trophy game and watched a ping pong match. Now we're doing the same thing in the midfield. Whoa, gave away. Luke Young. Boyle might have to foul him. Doesn't. Hosanna comes over. Hammers it away. Free kick. Or throw in that's going to come in. No foul. And that was well done in a scramble as Boyle kind of got twisted and didn't have the pace as the other guy was already moving forward. Had him beat. Halftime whistle. And now I get to focus on the chat. And I think I've given you guys all the news that I've got. I can update the scoreboard here. Stop that. Reset it. 7-5 the shots. The momentum meter, though, you look at it, oof, other than maybe, 5-6 minutes of time, it was 7 minutes of time. It's been Port Vale with continued possession here. I'm curious where Kitman came from. I never asked you, John. I know someone with the last name Kitman, which is why it's always interesting that you went with it. Oh, is it because I'm always wearing kit? I don't know. Yeah, wins and draws. That's a good call. Fozzie retired. Jackson, he played, 5 games? 4 games? And wasn't doing well. And there were goals that were going in that probably somebody should have... rating the kits. I got it. No, Fozzie wasn't performing up to his expectations, and so he ended up resigning and retiring and going back into the podcast world. So I think it was a wise move. It was... he knows himself better than anybody else does. And if he knew that there were balls that he should have been stopping and wasn't, it was time to turn things over. Went to Mr. Howard, and John is a massive fan of him. He plays well. He seems to find wins. His save percentage isn't at the top, but the team plays well in front of him, and he makes more saves and appropriate saves. But I think we were only at 60% save percentage while he was in. And we're now up to, I think with Algonquo, 80, 81% range. So there's a bit of a jump there. That's a good question. Who do I want in the next round? I mean, there's still some games going on. I think some are about to finish, but there were only, I think, 8 teams that I looked at that didn't have anything to play for in this one. I do miss Jackson screaming Super Ben Foster in goal, that's for sure. EFL. It's in the game. So I'm going to go and have a look and see if there's any score updates. But we know we're going to get a northern section. So right now that's looking like, I don't know, interesting to see Liverpool youth are playing Barrow and Morecambe's playing Blackpool. I'm interested to see who comes out of that one and whether Morecambe moves up with Blackpool or whether Liverpool does. Because it'd be fun to get the U-21 B-side. Who else might we look at? We can't draw Port Vale. And so the other teams that we could get, Accrington Stanley's already in. It's going to be one of either Nottingham Forest's B team or Harrogate Town. And then the other one, Wigan Athletics, already through, and it'll be one of either Fleetwood Town or Leicester City. Oh, and there's more. Barnsley and Bradford. God, I don't want Bradford City again. I really don't. So that one doesn't interest me at all. And then the last one, ooh, is that in the northern section? Derby County would be fun. Lincoln City also there. That would be a fun, maybe we end up losing this and getting an away day out. That'd be a fun day out. Burton Albion, and then one of either the Donny Rovers or Mansfield. So those scores that are coming in are going to define who we end up getting there. And I could bring up the live scores to see if there's any. Well, we won't get a Premier League team in the EFL Trophy, right? We've got, if we're going to get a chance at a Premier League team, Derby. I thought Derby was still Derby, but Derby was a Derby. But I'll take it. Noted. Those are going to sneak out. They sneak out all the time with my wife, as she's from Yorkshire, and I've started to add oat and note into my vocabulary, which is the oddest phrases, and I think that that's only in Yorkshire. Is there anybody else in England that uses oat and note? First time I heard it. I'm going to the store. You want anything? Note. Okay. I don't know what that means. Buy notepads? Dropping words out. Yes. Int. I'm going into car. So Leicester looks like they're getting battered. That's fascinating. Mansfield, Everton still at 0-0 in the 70th minute. That one's got an impact on us potentially, depending on who we draw. Derby's going tomorrow against Wolves U-21, but they're already in, and so we'll see what ends up happening there. Lincoln beating Notts 1-0, so that would solidify Lincoln over Wolverhampton, depending on goals for and against. And is Wolverhampton playing right now? Are they finished? There are still some games, like Mansfield still has 2 games left, I guess I should say. I would expect some at Christmas. I think that they said that there's another 20,000 on order, but man, they're going to jump up, and I don't know what you do. Like, to me, if you're jersey provider, and I'm always going to confuse this because we have a land developer named Marcon, and then you've got Macron being the jerseys, and so it's always going to throw me off. But Macron, we got to order more jerseys, or Macron's got to be able to allow for in-season production. I don't understand why there's a pause. If they're sold out, run the machines and spin out more jerseys. Certainly, if Macron's got to have production capacity to do that, no? So, I mean, they ran out last year, so I didn't even bother about trying to get a jersey. Jumped on it this year and had to do the mass race where it's like Ticketmaster just to buy some kit. Not Laura, Jackson. Laura is Jackson. And I might take, while this is at a commercial break, I'm going to just take a 60-second break here really quick, and I will be right back. Back at it. See if I can bring up the YouTube analytics on this one. Always fun at the half to end up soaking those up. Yeah, to be fair, I think it was Humphrey said that they ordered levels that championship teams would normally fill with the 35,000 jerseys. And I mean, they sold out in days. I believe the store still has some. If anybody's in Wrexham and can confirm, I've seen picture. Can Wrexham win this game? Absolutely. Do I really care if they do? Not really. I mean, there's something to be said that if we're automatically into the next round, right? And so if we're into the next round, I would either want to be at home against a similar opponent, or get a fun little away day out where we get to run to Derby or a League One squad. And so, I mean, I believe that the B teams, if they're in, automatically have to play if you draw them even as an away team, you get them at home. but I'm going to hit the refresh button on that and see. Where we're at. Yes, if we win, we're at home next round. But I kind of want to, you know, there are some League One teams that have some nice barns, some stadiums, and I'd kind of like to go and have a look. Yusuf, it's a pleasure. If anybody's sitting there and I haven't checked, 73 watching, so obviously EFL Trophy not getting the numbers that we normally get. But if you want to enter the chat, by all means, hit the subscribe button. The goal I'm hoping to is to get within a shout of 1,000, because it'd be really nice during the Gillingham game to get a mad rush. There have been a couple of times where I've got 100 subscribers during a watch party. It'd be nice to get that push and get across the line into the beautiful territory of monetization and the massive $6 per day that I'll make doing these events. Not going to get rich, but I'm looking forward to improving the desktop, being able to do more, add some AI, maybe save some money and have some giveaways, some kit if I'm able to secure some, stuff like that. Maybe ultimately sponsor a sign or something, a game day. That'd be fun. This game day brought to you by the Red Horde. That'd be, I don't know. Putting money back in the team, both by you guys directly doing things like following along with iFollow or otherwise. Hosanna's been solid. Quick, the challenge that I think that we're having is even when we get down into our final third, like I think of one instance in particular where he was down there with the ball. He ended up getting swarmed by 3 Port Vale defenders before he had a chance to get the cross in, and that was because we only had 2 guys going forward into the box, and so it would have been nice to get more of a rush from the other midfielders in support. Yeah, Kazuma, I talked about that on a video that's on the channel. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, legally, are they allowed to do it? Sure. The terms and conditions in the stadium allow them to restrict recording anywhere within the ground. But everybody, Premier League down to, you know, the 5th, 6th tier, has people that are blogging. Oh, Jackson, did I miss something? If I did flights, yes, Brendan, flights would be amazing. It all tends to go forward. So, I mean, because I talk about the vlogs in that video about being an impetus for me to really get bought in. Love the club, love the story from the documentary. At the time when there was no streaming, especially, getting a sense of what was actually happening in the stadium was only available via vlogging. A little bit different now that people can get iFollow, but before you're going to spend your 10 quid to sample a game and watch the experience, you're going to shop around a little bit. And so to me, it's a way of distancing yourself from the international community, and that doesn't make any sense to me at all. So whether it's, I don't think it's an EFL directive. I know there's lots of comments in that thread that said that it's EFL. To me, if it was an EFL directive, they're clamping down on hundreds of other bloggers, vloggers that are out there doing the exact same thing. And I hope they don't, subject to somebody sitting there actually streaming the whole game. I heard that, Jackson. I know that you're supporting both teams. I was making fun of how we could get down to the penalty kicks, and that's probably all you can cheer for, because it's hard to get behind things, because Brendan made that comment earlier. So I would love to be able to do that. It's not what I can do. I always find myself, even when there's 2 teams that I'm quasi-interested in a game, I end up choosing somebody. Just it's inherent. Got to have that fight for me. Is it Disney? Disney was part of what attracted me to the club, if that's what you're referencing, Maurice. Absolutely was. Spent 6 years looking for a club Looked at Donnie because that's wife's hometown team. Went to a couple of games there. A 5-0 win over Rochdale, I think, in 99. Barrows defeating Liverpool U-21. All right. Well, that would... Jackson, I don't... If I don't say Liverpool, I'll peeve the in-laws off. I can go with Leeds in the championship because that's the other side of the in-laws. For me, I was looking for a club that has Canadian content in it. So that was that's currently Watford, who's got Kone there. It's Burton Albion, I guess, who's got McGill as their third goalkeeper. But that's really where we're at. Oh, we're gonna get close. I got to get ready to start as we're getting close to starting the second half. And Waters is over the ball. Wrexham going from right to left towards the Stoke Coffee cold brew end. Vale going towards the empty cop. Absolutely, David. But you kind of take that, don't you? Attempt to get it to Hosanna. Yeah, I can see why. I mean, I did some research on my ancestry and genealogy, and I do have more English in me than Welsh. Fair disclosure. More Scottish in me, actually, to be fair, than Welsh. But I have a lot of relatives that were sort of in the Chelsea area in London, so I followed them for a bit, and then they brought in a whole bunch of Americans, and I went, yeah, not interested. So I abandoned them. Midfield stripe. We've had some pressure and some possession early on, and here we come forward. Bickerstaff looking for support, waiting up, holding up. Dan Davis has got up there, but he checked his run, so it's got to go back to him, and he's going to collect it. Davis should have kept going. A little bit of trepidation. We are a second half team. We'll see if it's contagious. I mean, because these young guys coming out, I still say, even if we're losing 1-0, I want to see. Did I put the wrong starting lineup in there, didn't I? Oh, no, it isn't. That's the right starting lineup. I thought with Hall having question marks, but I forget his number, and Andrew's not here to remind me. But I do want to see Cushion, and I want to see Ashfield get in on this one. More possession. Waters, well done to be able to get that one to Bickerstaff. Too many people there. Bickerstaff dancing his way through. Tackled. Ball. Oof. Bickerstaff all the way through. Bull at a china shop with a little bit of footwork at the very end. Gets all the way to the edge of the area before the tackle happens. One guy to beat and he would have had that. Hosanna now with the cross. Drilled instead. Punched away. And now we've got it. This is more like it. Second half. A little bit of Wrexham fire. Let's go. Misheads, and now the Valiants driving forward. Jones working him over. James stepping up there to hold up the challenge, and then there's a ball knocked away. Well done by Dan Davies, too. The young guys showing up. Yeah, see, John, that was something I remember. I've heard lots of people referencing that that somebody told Foster no goal pro in the net. I didn't see that this year, and I don't know what the source of it, because I remember hearing it, but I was trying to find it recently to get the details as to how that happened. I know that the year prior, Fozzie was talking about how the EFL was supportive of the goal pro in the goal, and it was the Premier League that was having an issue. So I don't know if something changed. I don't know if that was Wrexham. I don't know if actually the GoPro thing with Foster was an actual issue, or whether that was just a rumor that got blown up and became accepted into society. You think we're struggling in the league? I don't think we're struggling in the league at all. I mean, we're tied for second. We've got some games that are winnable after, we've got about 3 tough ones coming up, and then we've got some winnable games. That opening from opening from Carl was classic. The guy, I said it to you, John, I said it to him. He is my inner voice. I wish I was that passionate and crazy, and the spirit of Christ. I can't even do it. Pumped in by the Valiants, but cleared away, and now we've got Bickerstaff approaching the midfield stripe. Is he going to be able to keep it in? He does keep. Did he keep it in? If he did, it's going to be our throw. No, going to be their throw. Barrow up now 2-1. Do we want Fleetwood Town away? Would that be a fun one? Bolton away? Derby County, Lincoln County away? It's interesting to see Mansfield struggle, tied 0-0 with Everton's B team, the U-21s. I mean, if they end up taking a loss, they've gone undefeated in any competition to losing 3 in a row. That's got to be in their head. Oh, defensively, we are there. Since Ogonko came in, we have a goals against per 90 minutes of 1. That puts us third in League 2. Tied for third for League 2, just behind Mansfield and Barrow. So we're okay. We've cleaned up our mess. Well done, Mike. Sacrifice for the team. It's like I was listening to a Spaces that was done on Twitter with some Wrexham fans, and the bathroom humor, and then it ended up actually being people flushing toilets and mass chaos. Lots of fun just listening to that one. But no, I have a lot of time for Carl. I have a lot of time for the work that Liam does. I think that Rob Ryan are exceptional. Eat More Chips is understated. Fearless and Devotion. There's so many good content. Me, myself, and Wrexham, they're always happy. Well, she's always happy. I think I'm waiting to watch a video where she actually directly picks one man of the match, because it always ends up being like 3, 4, or 5. Nope, the match does not matter, except for home field, and I keep saying home field advantage, and somebody's going to correct me. The winner will play at home, and the loser will play away in the next match. Lincoln City up on Notts 2-0. So if they take care of that, unless Wolverhampton wins by 3, as it sits, they'll be moving on. So the game doesn't matter, except we get to enjoy watching the young guys going out and having a crack. And to me, there's some joy from that. We have the only shot of the half, possession 62-38%. That's fair, Kim. It would be different. You know what? If I'm Hosanna or Aaron James and I'm one of those young guys, even the older guys who are looking and scrambling to find more game time, you want to be able to put on a show here to demonstrate to Parky, hey, you can have some confidence in me. I'm going to handle my thing. So for the players on the match, they're going to be busting it to get it done, right? Pride and desire for more minutes is a beautiful driving force. Oof, Luke Young got tackled out of nowhere. Nobody screaming to help him out. The chance starting to get going. Boyle knocks that one down, clears it away, ends up getting a free kick out of that one. Ref delayed that one to see if there was going to be an advantage, I guess. Home advantage. I will try to remember home advantage rather than... I must have osteoporosis because I keep shrinking and getting lower in my seat as the game goes on. The curse of being old, I guess. Jordan Davis playing it back. Boyle with it all the way back to McNicholas. Possession 60-40. Trying to watch as we're getting closer to some of the scores ending in group stage. And it looks like Lincoln City probably wanting to score. I don't know when Wolverhampton plays their next game in the group stage, but they've got games that go all the way through to November 21st. And so we may not know exactly who we will pick for the next stage. Wolves U-21 are tomorrow against Derby. Is that the right one? Yeah. I think that'd be a big ask to get Wolverhampton to defeat Derby by 3, but maybe Derby ships it. It could be down to Disney. I don't know why they would. I mean, there's always a legal reason to do things and a business reason to do things. And, you know, I know they have documentary cameras and I don't really know all the details of them. And there was a producer saying, you know, I'll send out a documentary camera for people. I think that the bottom of League One and the top of League One are much better, are better than League Two, if that makes sense. But League One is substantially better. I'll tell you what, 3-time promotion in a row is, I don't think it's happened in the last 20 years since they've had promotion from the National League. There's always been some time to go up. So we can expect that there's going to have to be some retooling, whether it be this year or next. I think it's 10% of teams do the double promotion, and it's 34% that get promotion within the first 3 years. That's going to be a corner. You must be way ahead of me, John, if there was a big miss. Boyle going up for a header. An away swinger from Mr. Luke Young out into the box, middle, over, and oh, that's that big miss you were talking about, John. I thought that had to be in. That was a miss. Was that Waters with the mistake? Great ball in middle. No, Jordan Davis got his head on it, had space, and he just ended up catching him on the left side of the head and shooting out to the left rather than straight on. Didn't test the keeper, and that's sad. I don't want Stockport County either, but I think, did I see that they're losing today? Waters giving it, Bickerstaff right there. Pass nicked. Stockport not playing today, so, but I don't want them, so that means I'm cheering for Salford, as Stockport won't play their last game till the 14th against Bolton Wanderers. So if Salford's able, Salford's done. They're at 3 points, so forget about it. Stockport County's in. That's a reason to win, is you won't get Stockport County then. Not that I'm afraid of them. I just don't like playing the same team 3, 4, or 5 times in a season. I'd like to change it up. Wrexham putting pressure on. Here we go. Bickerstaff dancing into the box. 2 guys in front of him, still dancing, gets stripped, and away it goes the other way. Yeah, no, all good, John. I know that it's a problem for you and other people do it, so that's why I was like, that must have been a mistake. Yeah, I'm still at the 57th minute. Sometimes we call it latency, the delay is just a little bit too much. And I would pause and play my iFollow if I was watching myself, just to match things up, and you always have that option. Fleetwood laying it to Leicester. Jeez, 4-0. Yeah, see Mansfield again, Crewe again, which I think Crewe's eliminated, so we don't have to worry about that. But I just don't. Change it up. Give us another B team, like a U-21 team. Give us another, thank you for the subscription, whoever clicked that button. That was a great ball. Offside, just barely. I thought that who was that? Number 10 on the far side. Couldn't have been Chislett that was back there. Must have been 19, Massey. Put him on side, but I guess I was wrong. Agreed, John. Thanks, Art. Oxford also laying the boots to Chelsea's U-21 side 4-0. And I haven't checked if Tom Gill is actually playing with Brighton's U-21 or not. If he's not, I mean, we're not going to get them unless we go through the knockouts and we're out of the geographical stuff and can play the southern teams. But I would love to be able to get a game where I can actually see McGill play, because he's on the Canadian national team. Nutmeg into the box by the Valiants and then bobbled, and so we're able to clear. Back to Hosanna. Long ball. Waters can't get to it. Bickerstaff plays it back to Waters. Move forward. Well done by Davis. Great ball forward. We got 3 people up, 4 people running forward. Can we get this into... We've got space. Macklendon, you should have played the ball before the defender got there. We get a corner. But I would have loved to... But lots of people joining and leaving. That's the joy now of the subscription thing and required to chat. Lots of people jumping in and jumping out. Yeah, I guess that's a consideration, Maurice. A cold Tuesday night. Nobody wants to go away. Everton ahead of Mansfield. Oh, it's there. It's in the box. Somebody get a ball, a foot, a ball. Boyle shot blocked. Ended over to the left side of the net. Not able to get it, and they clear it away, and we're pushing forward. Waters trying for the chap. He goes to ground. Yellow card for a professional foul? I don't know. There were 2 guys there. Close. Headed away. Cleworth, or not Cleworth. Yeah, Cleworth got it back into the area, and Boyle misses it. Oh, Jones, McLean, and Mullen. I don't like it. I don't like it. Well, now it's squeaky bum time only because I don't want an injury. And I don't want to have to send hate mail to Parkey. I love the guy. But is there a benefit? Is somebody raised this, and maybe it is a factor to consider. Let's put the devil's advocate side on of things. As Mullen has just started to get the engine running and maybe making sure that he gets a couple of minutes every game, just make sure that fire, that engine keeps going. I think he's a KG veteran. And he'll be fine. But we've changed formation. Four, 2, 3, 1. No, it's not 4 in the back. It's 3 in the back. I don't know what we're doing right now. McLean's on the right side. Oh, ball bounces straight, headed away just at the last second. That was up to difficult to control. Yeah, Dave, I'll take that as an argument. I mean, it'd be different if he was 21, 22, 24, compared to him being a KG veteran. I think he knows he's got a nose for the net, but I take it. I note that's there. McLean on the left side, cross in right there. Ooh, Mullen was there, couldn't get a touch on it, but here we go. Stadium's a little louder. Mark's getting a little bit more excited, and I guess that's where the fun is. Yeah, Billy Waters, I think. I never checked on Transfer Market when his contract is up and whether he's just going to end up getting shipped. Maybe he leaves by mutual consent. That would be the easiest thing if he's got another year. At some point, if he's not going to come up in January, if you're him, he's going to want some more minutes. And so, getting a loan out might not be a bad idea either for him. Get an opportunity to assert himself again. 2025, Kim? Oof. Put yourself in his shoes. If you're in the situation where you're getting paid, but you're getting B-side minutes, do you want to end up looking to transfer and go somewhere, loan out? Yeah, John, I can appreciate that's the other perspective, right? Well done. Nicked it, Mullen with it, but Chislett just comes in and rips it right from Mullen, easy. Are we going to make cards, Brendan? We've got the WST. Now we're going to have the WSC, the Water Sucks Club. Port Vale right there. Well done to try and knock it away from him. Kicked away and it goes to the right. Cleworth with a nice little push there. Oh, he went for a corner? Interesting. Said Waters to Chester. That should be purgatory for our players. And Chester fans would go nuts getting the failed Wrexham players to end up going. They'd be 9-7. Possession 59-41. There's been more gumption by Wrexham as we go forward, but still struggling. Going to be a short corner. Valiants have it on the right side. Played up to the front of the box. Played back in. He's right there. Ooh, Chislett just pushed it right, and it's going to go for another corner. Blocked. Not blocked? Interesting. Went straight out. Chislett turns, bounced it off his knees and got a bad touch, and then it went out. But it didn't touch anybody. Yeah, still 1-0 on the score. You never count Wrexham out, even when it's a useless trophy game that means nothing. Always going to be that fire in the belly. Ball bounced around. McLean able to control it. Played forward. Oh, Mullen played it forward to Davis. And then Davis just couldn't get it and advanced forward with it. So the Valiant's coming the other way. Free foul our way. We get a free kick. And what happened there? Extra whistle for the ball rolling away. That's twice that the Valiant players played it and thrown it, and the referee just letting it go. This is not what we're used to seeing. I actually appreciate this sort of refereeing. Oxford 5-0 up over Chelsea U21s. Ouch. Cambridge United 4-1 over Tottenham's U21s. Jones on McDermott. Well, except the revenue split 45-45, I believe, is the trophy. If it's not 45-45, it's 40% between the home team and the away team, irrespective of who bought the tickets. So for any trophy cup game, you want to go into the largest of the stadiums. You don't want to draw an away game in a stadium smaller than yours. Brought in by the Valiants, cleared out. That was Young able to knock it away. And here comes Mullen all the way back, trying to play it. Oh, not Mullen, that was McLean. Well done by McLean. Whoa, dancing by Walters and playing advantage or letting it go. Right side, soft corner. Chislett, he's been good. Going for the Olympico. Yeah, I don't know about the food and beverage. I guess that's the revenue side, but do I think that that's going to be as much? I'll tell you, John, it's the one thing I know from going to Keep Moat Stadium and I watched a rugby league game in Leeds. The food and beverage is not nearly as expensive and not nearly as good. I missed the North American approach to stadium food, where you have these unique, creative, monstrosity food type things I could get at a state fair almost. It's pies, pasties, and fries, chips, and so something for them to maybe look at doing. I don't know what would happen in Wrexham if they were to have some, a Philly cheesesteak section, and then you could go to the other side and get a poutine to take care of the Canadian stuff. Some beaver tails maybe for dessert. Whatever Welsh comfort food is out there, make it worth dropping some money for some delicious food at the game. Now I'm hungry. Swung in. It's right there. Headed away. We're getting another corner. Race over to the other side. Jordan Davis looking to take this one. McLean took it from the left, but Davis says, I'm going to go with it. So we're going to have a fight in the box. This will be fun. I haven't seen McLean in the actual area. Luke Young says, no, Jordan, get out of here. I'm going to play this one. I'm going to call a McLean goal here. Leaks, Welsh Rabbit. Rarebit. As soon as I said that, I knew that was wrong. Ooh, blows it down. Too much holding in the box. Boyle gets pulled out for a talking to with Captain Nathan Smith, as the two of them are playing patty cakes in the box. It's so far away from the net. Boyle runs in, ball just not too far, but that was an interesting little ploy by Boyle. Pulled Nathan Smith out and then with pace tried to get to the center. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want to have to kick you. Am I that far behind? Am I that far behind? Or was that just a shout? You guys got me confused. Five more legs get me to the goal. Ball all the way down to the left. Bickerstaff, left corner. Cross, in. Goal! Which you guys spoiled. 2 minutes behind. Hey, I'm 2 minutes behind. I'll take it. It's a trophy match and we all get it. That's the longest I've been behind. But we're back into it, and maybe we get extra time and some penalty kicks. Super Paul Mullen. Well done. Hey. Why you guys gotta spoil? We'll work on it. It's a slow process. I can try to hit the refresh button. Maybe I'll do that if we end up going into extra time and see how far behind I am. I'll hit the go live button and see if it speeds me up. Oh, 71:38. That moved me way forward. I don't know what happened there. So I missed a minute of action, but here we go. A little bit of pantomime. Here's another question. Why do we have Christmas pantomimes in North America? Let's talk about that one into the 11th hour. Maybe I do a video about that. Pantomime's so hard to find. I miss them. McLean to Mullen. Punched into the back of the net. You think that McLean has poor crossing? I'm going to bring up his stats because I actually thought that he was actually pretty good in that regard. Another turnover. Do we get another? Oh, we're not able to nick it there. Deborah gets it, and the Valiants move forward. McLean picked up a yellow card there for the push on that last challenge. So his cross completion rate, I guess, 55th percentile. Not perfect. He certainly has a lot of them. 99th percentile for his successful crosses, which is great, but is top of the league for successful, but the percentage being down demonstrates that he could probably improve a little bit. I'll give it to you there, and I'll agree. McLean could improve his crosses. Well, this is fun. Take it to a little bit of penalty time, a little bit of extra time if we end up getting there, if we don't pot one before the 90th minute. I think there is extra time before we get into it. Ball forward. And I will say I've heard two things. Sometimes I get a little... Oh, another giveaway. Davis, right in the front of the box. McLean turns, doesn't take the shot, pulls it back. There's a shot driven. Ooh, rocket that goes left. So I'm at 73:49. Yes, if you pause and you link up, that's the best thing to do. The other thing that I've heard is I get a little pixelated with my voice. It gets garbled at times. Some people hit the just hit the refresh button and I come back live. Everything's good. It may end up being an issue with the chat at times as well. I've heard hit the refresh button. That's the only corrections I've had. That the last game I had, it got really bad, and I think most people ended up getting garbled voices. As the Valiants punt it forward and we're able to head it back from the goalkeeper's kick. It goes right back to the keeper, and he punts it forward again. And we're there for Jones to get it down, and the Valiants get it again and play it back. Yeah, now that I hit that refresh button, so that's on me. I'll have to do a reminder that the refresh button is my friend at half. Always nervous to do it when the game's on because I've had once it's crossed. Well, Bickerstaff, great play, trying to get it to McLean. McLean has it, hits it. Ooh, that would have been a cracker. Left-footed, half volley in the air, looking for the top corner, and he just misses it over to the left side. Oh, are you kidding me? Knocks it down with the left, gets it up there. He's got one chance. Ball bounces. It's in the air, half volley, and ooh, baby. Yeah, I don't think that. Well, I mean, it's a southern match too. The EFL Trophy's in north and south sections, and so those southern ones we're not going to worry about until the end. But I would like to see Brighton, I guess, long term make it all the way through. Corner in, keeper punch away. End of the game excitement, even in a trophy game that means absolutely nothing. Jones turns two guys. He's there. Cross. Blocked away. It's still there. Another header. Oh, that was a volley. It's a shooting gallery pushed in the back. Free kick coming to us at the edge of the area. You bet. That is the right call. I want to see that volley. That was like a half bicycle kick, half scorpion. What do you call that one? The fans getting into it. This is a lot more fun. Momentum meter on our side. 57%, 43 possession, and we've gone up to 11 shots here. We'll see how many are in the wall. We're all having a chat there. Youngie's there, Mullins there, Davis there. Who's going to take it? Whistles to blow it. Played and served up. Ooh, Davis rips it off of the Mullen touch. Played over to Mullen, who just tapped it and left it there to get around the wall, and it did. The goalie able to get it. It matters to the players. I'll go that far. It could matter home and away for people who don't want to travel. I know it's getting close to 900. If I can get into a shout of 1,000 by the weekend, hopefully we can push that over during the Gillingham match, or maybe even the hot stove discussion, 5 p.m. my time, 1 in the morning out in Wales, noon in Australia, 8 p.m. With the Bearded Wonders. 3 beards, 1 place. 2 Aussies walk into a bar with 2 Aussies and a Canuck walk into the bar. I haven't looked at the numbers as to how many are in here viewing at the moment. Been too busy trying to follow the scores of the EFL Trophy and see who's coming forward potentially out of that. Would like to see somebody update the wiki standings, but it'll probably take some time before that disappears. Valiants nick it on the left side, and they're looking to move forward here. I know, Francis. If we get away with it and there's no injuries, it's a brilliant move by Parkey. If somebody ends up getting injured, then there's going to be a whole lot of hate mail, right? Zergis, it's nice to see you again. For those of you in the US, I put up the state one so you can feel free to track that. And if you don't see your state, which I should probably swap it to those that we don't have, then we can fill it out. Late challenge, did he call it? Free kick for us, our side of the half. $128. I will take that on a Tuesday. I will definitely take that on a Tuesday. But 128, that's probably half of you could hit that subscribe button. Ooh, undertook him, over top. Free kick taken quickly, and away we go. All the way up, onside, down the left side. Bickerstaff looking into the middle. Hammer that. Hits it. Ooh, just touched and goes left. Oh, he had options, and Moles is sitting there. That's got to be a corner. He got his hand on it. Well, as far as the refereeing goes, this is probably the best that we've seen. Let's be fair. Maybe it's a game that we don't care about, so we're not all in tune. But there's just so many games to yet to be played, all the way through to November 14th, November 21st, even with some. So it's hard to predict exactly who's going to advance and where they're going to advance, at least for a period of time. But I'll tell you, Tottenham getting spanked when they were sitting in second before the start of the day. That's not going to go well for them. Got a Valiant player down. Looks like he's... Not sure. They're working his hips, but I don't think it's that serious. Everybody's gone. Well, not water break time. Oh, I don't want to get that far. Bickerstaff's still young. I mean, it's one of those things people were talking about when you have a young player who's right like his age on that cusp of like, are you moving into the squad, not going to be full-time in the squad? Do you look to loan him out? And I know Parky's loath to bring people in on loan or put them out by loan. But he's the type of guy who, if you put him back in the National League with a mid-table squad and turned him into the guy, would he fit having a run? Now at 11, we might even be higher than that if you're just going on my scoreboard. Let's go and look at, yeah, we're up to 12. Magic spray. It works for everybody. 141 watching, everybody jumping into the 11th. That's the norm in the last 10 minutes. People tend to join the watch party. Just get the live, what's happening. Continuing the push, lots of ball. Oh, James Jones with the tackle. We're coming forward, gets it forward. Can Mullen get there? He gets it crossed in. Well taken. Goalie's out of the way. Hammer that! Oh no! You missed a wide open net. Missed. Oh, Bickerstaff. No, Jordan Davis. Did he get his hand on that? He got his hand on that. Did he get his hand on that? Holy crap. Corner in. Flick on scores! Yeah! McLean from the corner. Luke Young service short post. McLean gets their header. That's McLean. Not taking the corner. Add it up. Put it in the win column. I'm calling it right now. We've just got too much for him in the late in the game. Wrexham last minute magic. It's what we do. It's who we are. Don't sleep on us, folks. One day we'll go up by a lot and just coast to a win, right? But not today. Not today. I did call a McLean goal. I almost called the lineup. I said to somebody earlier in the chat I should end up applying to be a manager, but somebody told me to settle down, and that's probably appropriate. Brilliant. That was kind of misplayed, to be fair, by the keeper. He had a player in his way, tried to get around him, opened his arms, went through. Doesn't matter. Beautiful header. McLean scoring it up, and here we go again. No, given away. I know, John. I know. It's what we tell ourselves when we end up preparing ourselves for a game that we lose. You know what? Bring in the young bucks. I want to see Ashfield and Cushion. I want to see Ashfield and Cushion come in. We've got 3 strikers on, so you might as well bring in a young midfielder with some legs to go chasing around, right? Pull Bickerstaff off, and away we go. Maurice, you called it. Well done. Can somebody just say at the start, we're going to win this one 10-0 today? And just see if that comes to fruition. And there's still fun games to watch. I mean, I watched the Vancouver Canucks put 10 up on the San Jose Sharks a couple of times, and I enjoyed every goal. We're at 56 possession. That was good stuff. Nice little tackle, knocked out. They're going to force a throw in at the midfield stripe. I do believe it is 10 because I was looking at it. It's basically since Stockport. Now the goalie's gone down with an injury, taken a time off. Yeah, John, I didn't anticipate it. I have to admit, I was thinking we should be rebuilding, and all of a sudden they bring in a new coach and solidify the back line a little bit. And all of a sudden we are wheeling and dealing. Yeah, NHL record up for grabs next game for the San Jose Sharks. Winless in their first 12 would be an NHL record. Davis has been solid. That's probably the first mistake I've seen from him in a long time was that that shot that went rocketing over, and it wasn't a mistake. I need to look at that back on the replay because he got his right hand on that, right? Yeah, 13-0 Pueli. I'm going to pronounce it wrong. My Welsh. I need to go to the Welsh Hall. If there's somebody in the Lower Mainland here that wants to go to the Welsh Hall, the only solely dedicated Welsh Hall in all of North America is in Vancouver. And I want to go. They have Welsh lessons and drink some beer and meet some other people and have a good time. Just haven't been able to make my way over. I guess I could go get drunk by myself. There's no shame in that, is there? So, keeper still down. It's nice to see Griffiths replay and everybody standing and cheering. They're certainly into it. Yeah, Francis, I saw that. Yeah, I actually saw the video, and that was certainly unfortunate, borderline disgusting. I'm curious to see what ends up happening as they investigate that, because lifting your skate like that is not normal. And so, yeah, scary. The only time I remember ever seeing that before was Malarchuk for the Buffalo Sabres, who was a goalkeeper who ended up getting it, which is why they brought in neck protectors and mandated them in the first place. So, the young guys coming in. See, Port Vale bringing in young bucks. Like, you look at them, they look like they're 16, 17. Where's Ashfield, or where's Cushion and Ashfield? That's our counter. No problem, Andre. I believe that's Andre. Is it Audrey? I won't admit to you that I'm a Michigan Wolverines football fan. Being from Ohio might make you unsubscribe. It's just in Nakatoba Plaza of 88. Not a lot going. Doesn't seem like the Valiants are really pushing forward. Lots of passing back within their side of the half. They've still got possession on the back line all the way back to the keeper, and this is where you kind of go, keep going, guys. Keep passing around to yourself. Holy, we're up to 16 shots. Talk about turning on the juice in the second half. Look at that momentum clock. It's got to be all green this half. Yeah, tale of two halves. Somebody take a snapshot of that for posterity, because I think we had 7 minutes in the first half, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far in the second half. First half, that's crazy. When I played minor hockey, they were mandatory, so I don't know. It won't end in a draw. It'll go to extra time and then to penalty kicks. So I'm happy just to call it. We'll probably get some extended injury time. Feel free to call it. 6 minutes maybe. And then we've got to talk about a man of the match as well. Don't think that there's been a putz of the match in this one. For those of you that are new, putz, North American term for somebody who's ineffective, ineffectual, and it can be more derogatory. Good cross by the Valiants in there, go into the box, knocked away, easily cleared. They're going to have another crack at it, though. This is Brazier getting it over, bounces around the edge of the box. Now on the left side, the Valiants looking, searching, danced around him, but it comes free. Should be able to clear that. Hosanna clears, but knocked down and advanced forward by Port Vale. Here they come. Pressed out, knocks it out. We should get the throw. Taking our time, letting the clock wind down. Yes, give it to Parkey if no one gets injured. That is the perfect line. And you've got to be able to send a message that says, don't get stuck into anything. If you can't get to the ball, don't worry about it. We'll save you. David, multitasking, things I can't do. Well done. There hasn't been any flopping. And to be fair, the referee, when tested early, didn't give it. There were some physical challenges and people going down, and he wasn't giving the fouls. So there's no point flopping anymore. And I think that the referee influenced things. And other than there were a couple of calls on missed corners, and one, I think it's one on either side, to be fair. He's had a solid game. Me neither, Brendan. I'll be honest. Seeing if they're updating the EFL Trophy on Wiki. Hopefully somebody's sitting there clicking away. Looks like FGR and Brighton and Hove, yeah, are in the southern section. That's fascinating. Barnsley and Bradford through. Bolton and Stockport County are through. They'll have an extra dead rubber match between the two to figure out who's home and away. I just don't want... I'll take Bolton. I don't want Stockport. Is the ref the man of the match? Eight minutes of extra time, a minute through. Ref for man of the match. That'd be a bold move. Maybe it's due. We'd probably never do it again if there was ever a game. I'm trying to think. Like, Hosanna's been active. Has he been enough to be man of the match? I don't think so. Do you give it to McLean, who came in as a half, or Mullen, who came in and asserted themselves? I don't know. Do you give it to Bickerstaff for all of his efforts? Great tackle by the Valiance there at the midfield stripe. Now I'm advancing forward and we're scrambling back, but we're good. Turn them around. Switch to the right side. Hello, Brazil. Nice to see ya. Right side, close to the penalty area, cross from a distance. McNicholas goes out, claims it. No issue. There's two sources of money, one being from like wins and winning the competition, the other being from ticket sales that you split, and I believe the trophy's 45-45. Lewis Smith is the ref. Am I really giving the man of the match to the referee? Is that the vote? I've got Davis and McLean being nominated there by Dave. I've seen two referee votes. Mullen picking one up. And I believe once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I can do polls and we can answer this live without having to worry about it here. Yeah, the keeper, I don't know if he was tested enough to get man of the match, but he's definitely been there. John saying no on the ref. So do I take away a vote on that one? Oh, well done. Underhit, nicked. That's McAlinden gets knocked out, and we'll take our time and watch the clock tick away as we're at the 3rd minute. I seem like Rob McElhaney. I've gotten McElhaney. I've gotten Ryan Reynolds twice. Ed Helm, I think, is who I look like more. If you've ever seen The Hangover, the dentist. It's a frequent Halloween costume. If you want to go back in the Wayback Machine and I take off the beard, howdy doody if you're American. I've got that one too. McElhinden, we're kicking it around in the back as we're wasting some time. All the way sweep over to McNicholas, and then just going to be a long ball all the way down as they've moved forward. Yep, there it is. Foul. McLean wiped out. That's what makes you nervous. It is 45%, so I think it's... I'm going to have to look this up and take note of it for posterity because I get confused as to whether it's 45 or 40 because I believe it's the FA Cup is also 45, but the EFL Cup is 40. But in any event, presumably last of the season, there's got to be a season 3 and 4 and 5. They're still filming, so I assume it's going to continue on. That's a League 2 match, eh? Swindon and Colchester? Get on it, Colchester. That's good stuff. A long season before we get promoted. I like the optimism. Back heeled. Hosanna there. Looking for a penalty, but I don't think that was a penalty. I don't think that was a penalty. He ran into him and he flopped. McLean back heel to Hosanna, stretches down the line, nutmeg. Oh, you know what? I'll give it. That's a penalty. I will give it. When I saw it, I didn't think so, but that was a penalty. Nutmegged him, went to go around, and he came forward. I thought that he just stood his ground and tried to get out of the way. But no, he came forward. That's on me. I made a mistake. That should have been a penalty. Now we're playing Harlem Globetrotters. That's back-to-back back heels. So we're going to get a free kick there. Time to slow it down, set it up, let the clock tick away. Yeah, that was brilliant. Hosanna splits the legs. Yeah, Swindon sure has fallen off. It's fascinating stuff to watch the up and downs. Morecambe coming all the way streaming up, sitting at 15th, although that loss recently hurt them. I'm interested to see if we get that divide and what Crewe does to hang on, and if they can. Wow. You got to give a card here on this one, don't you? The young buck getting a little feisty here. Watch somebody jump from the stands to deal with this. Sort of like McLean was getting if you saw the ones on X where he's getting pushed. Mullen there. Elbow in the back, runs forward, and then he just clatters into him and gives him a shove when the ball's passing away. Yeeks. Barge away from the ball. We're tied for third overall because of points. So we're one ahead of Mansfield, but Mansfield also has a game in hand. So I suppose they could pass us, and Morecambe could technically pass us too if they win because they've got a game in hand. So we're up there. We're in there. He threw it from the touchline and threw it out of play. Seven and a half minutes. We're winding down. I still don't really have a declaration on man of the match. I saw McLean. I saw Mullen. I saw Jordan Davis. Hosanna. McAlinden, I don't think, had a really solid game. Boyle was kind of okay. Bickerstaff and Waters, just not quite what I was hoping from. There is the whistle. We are at full time. Well done. You know, a nothing game, but we win home field. Nothing game to the team, an important game to the players. Let's sell it like that so John doesn't get mad at me. Important game for the players, and they performed. I would have loved to have seen Ashfield and Cushion get a run out, but that's fine. We will host somebody in the next round. We'll see who that is. So that's always an advantage, is an extra game to give to the fans. And maybe with a knockout game there, we'll be able to sell the thing out because we should get somebody in. We'll have to keep track. Obviously, we'll be watching the 14th, the 21st, as those games come through to find out who ends up getting advanced through before the draw is made. I should have advanced. That should have been the second half. Sleeping at the wheel. Stop the clock. Let it go. So anyways, just I appreciate you guys and everything you've done. If you've enjoyed the watch party and you've had a good time with here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you go. As for catching up, the Gillingham game, I'm going to be on. We're going to take care of that one. I'm excited to be here. I'll make sure I put together the Who Are You video for Gillingham, as it's our first match of the year against them. Also, remember 5 p.m. my time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 1 in the morning on Sunday in Wales, noon in Australia. I will have Two Beards, a Wrexham podcast on the channel to do the hot stove, where the live chat will be up. You will see Adrian and Rousey sitting there with me, Three Beards, talking about Wrexham and whatever you guys sort of end up directing us into talking about. So if you want to hear about what it's like to walk down under, go ahead, join, and have a chat. Get to know them, follow along and subscribe to their channel. No problem, Richard. I appreciate it. David, it was nice having you. David, I really do appreciate those comments. I will say that. That meant a lot to me because you never know how those things are going to go over. So if you haven't seen the COP video, it's at the 11-minute mark of the last COP Port Vale one that I posted. Go and have a look at that one and click a like and let that all go forward. Stephen, you're certainly welcome. From Colorado. I've got Colorado, but I appreciate that one. I'm going to have to change that all around. I know, adult content may occur. I will continue to be who I am. Maybe I'll change it up a little bit. But that was a fun one. I'm going to have to maybe do a follow-up video, or maybe Jed. I didn't see Jed today. But if Jed is here, potentially doing a mid-table roundup where we end up looking at the matches for the 14th and the 17th so we can figure out who we end up getting. Landundo is in Wales. Thank you for subscribing, Linda. So yeah, that's the content. I still don't know. It's going to be an interesting one because we've got Remembrance Day is a bank holiday in Canada. I believe it is in the US. You call it Veterans Day. If I'm not wrong, Brendan, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So if that's the case, I believe that we've got nothing Sunday morning. So I will probably have the women's match without Rosie Hughes there. Moises, I appreciate it. You know, it's always there too. I hope to be like a gateway. My mom, never been a sports fan. She started following Wrexham because of my interest in Wrexham. Watched, all caught up on the documentary, and now she's actually paying for iFollow. So I'm hoping this is a further gateway, like the vlogs were for me, that people can end up watching, get caught in, get to know the community. I've got a nice you guys are like my people. I've got, a great little collection of awesome people who come and support the channel. Louisiana, I think I've got you, but I see you. Yes, I do. And so I'm going to have to change that to be the other way around. So it's been a treat and a pleasure to see both the watch party take off as it has and continues to grow, and also to watch Northeast Texas. All right, let's learn something new every day. Thanks, John. And also get to watch videos like the one that happened today. I think I had 8,000 views at one point on my Twitter, which is rare. If you don't follow me on Twitter, feel free to go over there. It's at the Red Horde. I haven't been pushing it, but I've got a bunch of tweets out there and I share videos and stuff like that. So you'll get notice if something's coming up that you don't get from YouTube potentially. So feel free to go there and follow along. But yeah, it was... How many views did I end up getting? Because both Rob Ryan Red and Fearless in Devotion ended up commenting on it. So I'm up to 8,500 views on there. And a lot of people coming over to watch that. So a good joke. That was a joke. Gullible. I'm going to trust you guys. You're all outstanding, intelligent, capable, amazing people. And so I just rely on everything you say to be truth. Right? Because I don't have Google and any time to check it out, but that's on me. All right, I've got to get back to work. And so you're welcome, Patrick. I appreciate it. It was been a pleasure. I enjoy having it. We're at 125. We've got a week to go before the Gillingham game. There is an outside chance that we might hit 1,000 on Saturday. And I would love to be able to do that during a live, or at least during the hot stove with the Aussies. So feel free, if you haven't, click that before you leave. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for stopping by. It's been fun as always, and we'll be here Saturday, and I'll come out with that video in advance for the Who Are You series. It's been fun. Good night, guys. Bye. Or